Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Karen Rice. I'm demonstrating in a time-lapse video this young girl carrying ice skates through the snow with a cute red hat and coat, and I just thought I just love this photograph, and the techniques I'm going to use are very similar to the techniques I use with sheep in snow. If you're new to my channel, I do lots and lots of step-by-step tutorials. This isn't quite like that. It's more trying to inspire you to paint something a little bit more complicated, but using the same techniques as the sheep in snow, the spattering of white, the using of salt, this lovely background, all of those things. So I really hope you're going to find it helpful and inspirational. So shall we get started? This is the gorgeous reference photograph I'm going to be using, and a link for this can be found in the description below. So I've drawn an outline drawing with my HB pencil on rough watercolour Winsor & Newton 300-gram watercolour paper on block. I will put a list of all the materials I'm going to use in this kind of demonstration in the description below. So the first thing here is I'm actually applying some masking fluid with a masking pen, and that's to stop the paint from getting on those light areas once I start painting. So I let that dry and it protects the white of the paper. Once that was dry, I wet my background and I painted a mixture of yellows and violets and pinks, similar to what I did with the sheep in snow, wet in wet. I'm using my size 10 brush here, really just chucking the paint on, and I've got my painting on a tilt with my framing tape, and it's got a slight angle, and I'm just giving it a little tilt to get all the paint running into each other, and I've sprinkled some sea salt. Now, I thought this was a really nice opportunity to watch this time lapse of what the salt does. So I put the sea salt, or you could use table salt, and I sprinkled it onto the damp paper and just allowed the paint to be absorbed to create these wonderful effects. For longer tutorials with lots more tips and techniques and lots more voiceovers, why not think about joining my Patreon channel membership? For more details, just click the link in the top right hand corner of this video. You saw there, once it was dry, I removed it and brushed it off with my kitchen towel. Now I'm painting wet on dry here with my size 6 brush, using yellows and reds for the girl's hat. It's a knitted hat, and you know, I just love mixing watercolours, so I was just sort of playing around here. I've mixed some washes on her face, some pinks and yellows and reds, very dilute, and I'm painting the coat now with my size 6, wet on dry, just really at this stage just chucking on paint. It's the first layer. For the darker areas and tonal values, I've used violet or blue mixed with the red just to make it a bit darker, painting damp into damp. And it's quite interesting looking back, and there's lots of things that I didn't like and I lifted it off with my kitchen towel, but I just wanted you to have the opportunity to see me sort of paint something a little bit more detailed, but using those same sort of techniques, and sort of trying to encourage or inspire you to have a go at doing something maybe a little bit more complicated, a little bit more challenging. So I really hope this video will give you the courage to do so. So as you can see, I let the painting dry. Now this is the next layer, so I'm building up light to dark. So these are sort of the mid-tones now, and I'm painting wet on dry and then softening here and there, using reds, blues, yellows, just trying to keep it to the primary colours really, and just painting a little bit more shadows. And as you can see there, I'm painting a little bit of detail on her face, using my size 6 brush, wet on dry, then softening, and it's really sort of very diluted reds and pinks with touches of blue. So once the painting has completely dried, I'm taking off the masking fluid with my framing tape, and as you can see, the white of the paper has been completely protected by the masking fluid. And in some ways I regretted using the masking fluid, but you just never know sometimes. So I'm just putting in the girl's hair with some very light yellow colours, and then some darks around her face with some browns, and then some more colour on the hat, just building up those darks and details. but it's really nice to see and for me to show you a watercolour painting develop like this. And I'm just building up some detail on her hat now, softening edges and putting some shadow on her forehead, the cast shadow from the hat here and there. And just now, because I took the masking fluid off, I lost my drawing of her hand, and it's not quite as good as it was earlier, but I'm sort of just muddling through here, and I'm just putting a bit of shadow just to describe the hand and more detail on the hair as well, just building up that process and just putting a bit more shading on her lips, under her nose, a little bit more detail in the eyes, you know, really restricting myself to not overwork this painting as well. I felt I lost the light in this little girl's hair, so I've actually used some white gouache here with a touch of yellow just to put a little bit more light back in her hair and on the laces where I'd lost the light. It's always useful to have some white gouache or watercolour paint on standby just to get back some of those lights. As you can see there, I've given it a little spatter just like the sheep in snow watercolour tutorial. I'm just removing my framing tape to show a lovely white border, and I'm signing and dating my painting. I'm really pleased with it actually, and I really hope you've enjoyed just watching it and just seeing the process, not necessarily to go out and paint this one, but just to see a little bit of me painting and using the techniques that I use in my watercolour painting. If you have any comments about this video, please put them in the comments section below and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. And of course, if you like tutorials or videos like this, why not subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll get updates of my latest videos. Thank you again for watching. Happy painting. Bye for now.